Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Design Therapy. Here is another episode. I have with me today a brand photographer and an all-around beautiful soul and guru photographer, Vanessa Jordan. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited. I haven't seen you in so long. It's been like, what, 6 months, 8 months?
Yeah, I haven't seen you since December, so it's been a while.
Around my housewarming party almost.
Yep, that was it.
Oh, I've missed seeing your face. How is it down there in Florida?
Well, today it's hot and humid, which is why I'm inside and probably going to be inside for a long time. Otherwise it's fun. I really liked it, except right now because we can't do anything, but when we could do things, it was fun.
Exactly. What is life right now?
I don't even know. Life is just something else.
I love your Disney behind you. For everyone in the audience, we have a lot to talk about. This girl loves Disney, knows everything about Disney inside and out. Her boyfriend works at Disney. It's a Disney life.
Yeah, like it was funny. One of our friends sent us like a TikTok of like someone saying, "Isn't it? Do you have a mom that's like that has a bunch of Disney stuff all over their kitchen?" And she's like, "Your future house." I'm like, "No, our current life.
Current.
This is what's happening right now.
2020, COVID-19, Disney.
Disney's just everywhere, all over the place."
I love it. I love it. Well, tell everyone, introduce yourself and tell everyone what you do and about your business.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm Vanessa. I am an influencer photographer down in Orlando. Funny enough, I usually work with Disney influencers, but really anyone who goes into a theme park down here. I am also an educator, so I help social media influencers create a profitable and influential brand without working 24 hours a day, because everyone feels like they have to be glued to their phone, and I can tell you, no, you don't have to do that.
That life.
I have, all that life. I also have a podcast that helps all small businesses and entrepreneurs in the entrepreneurial life, just to make it not such an anomaly to be an entrepreneur and not make it as scary. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
I love that. So a little bit about Vanessa. She does a lot of brand photography also in the parks when they were open. So you'll see a lot of Disney influence, not only in your daily life, but also in your business as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We're trying to get back into working with influencers again during this time, but it's obviously not going to be in the parks because A, the parks aren't open, and B, the property that is open, you're wearing a mask. So it's kind of an unsafe.
Very influencer-y.
No, unless they really want to go to that place and show that this is what it's going to be like for anyone to go to that particular property, then so be it, whatever. But most people don't want that at this point. So we're looking at creative ways to still bring the Disney magic, but not on property.
Exactly. I love that. Well, tell us a little bit about your creative journey throughout the years. Where did you start? What industry did you start in? And how did you get to where you're at now?
Wow, that is a journey, as I've told you. But I started in photography in college because it was something as a part of my major as a graphic designer. They're like, well, you can't just know graphic design. You need to know all these other things so you could be marketable to get a job.
Multifaceted.
Oh yeah. They're just like, you need to know like 12 things before you graduate. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So let me just get right on that. But I went into photography because I'm like, I like photography. I was the kid who had this disposable camera and took pictures of the ground because I wanted to remember what that looked like on my vacation because I was that kid. And once I started, I really enjoyed it and loved it so much. I took advantage of all my roommates and theater friends and took pictures of them. We did photo shoots and invaded private property, all the rebel things you do in college.
What are you talking about? We still do it now. We're like, if they will let us in to shoot, we're going to sneak in.
We're going to do it. We're going to just like hop a fence. It's fine.
Hop a railroad fence. There's no trains coming. We'll just get some railroad shots.
Fine. Don't do that though. Please don't. But I started like my first job as a graphic designer, and then I just kind of like felt like I lost something from when I was in college, that kind of creative outlet. So I started my business as a wedding photographer, family photographer, senior photographer, just because at that point, that's what everyone was around in my life. And I did that because everyone kind of starts there. I shot
Yep.
pretty much anything. If someone were to ask, like, hey, would you shoot my cousin's baby shower? I did that. I literally did everything. And I got drained. I was running my business into the ground. Um, and it wasn't until I made the move to Nashville that I was really thinking about how to shift my business. We moved and I was like, oh, okay, just a new place. I'll market myself as a wedding photographer. Nothing was working
Because
because
everybody's a wedding photographer here.
yeah, and I didn't have the base like I did back in Wisconsin. Like I was starting to get more clients. Like I had friends who were getting married. So things were starting to happen. But then when we moved, it was like, okay, no one here is working on that. And after some like real hard thought and figuring out other avenues of photography, I went into brand photography so I could work with all sorts of cool, amazing small business owners and entrepreneurs. And then we made a move to Orlando and
Which I was sad about
doing
whenever
that.
you left
Yeah.
me. It's okay. I
But
forgive
can you
you.
blame me though?
No, because I love Florida too. I'm a Miami girl, so I get it. I get it.
Yeah, but
Not
once
far from
we
you.
right. But once we moved, I started posting more about Disney because we were 15 minutes away and those posts exploded. Like everyone's like, "Oh my God, this is amazing." And so I was like, "Well, maybe I should be posting more about it." And then I think I was talking to someone and they're like, "Well, why don't you niche in working with these influencers? Like that's what you love. Like why don't
Mhm.
you do it?" And I was like,
Why,
"Duh.
why don't I?
Why not?" Right. So that's kind of the direction that I went in, and that's where I've stayed. And I've really loved this Disney community. It's incredible people. They're just rays of sunshine that just try to bring happiness. And yeah, we're like we are a whole nother breed of people. We love Disney. We're children at heart, but we always try to bring the most positive and sunshine life that we can, especially in this time. Like everyone's been
Mhm.
trying to do some sort of like Disney magic at home or like Disney bounding at home. Like it's so cool to see how people are trying to bring the magic, and it's just like it's such a fun community and it's like I these are my people.
I just thought of this. I'm going to do a Disney game with you throughout this entire interview. So you have to give
Oh
me a
boy.
random Disney fact when I'm like, Disney fact. Okay.
Okay.
Disney fact. Give me your first one.
My first one.
Just a random Disney fact.
The Skyliner that is at Walt Disney World Resort is the first Skyliner type system that is in the US. Fun fact.
Nice. Fun fact. All right. We're going to be doing these. I just saw this. We're going to play a game. She has a lot of knowledge about Disney. So you're going to learn a lot about Disney on this episode.
Yes, yes, you will.
So where do you find your inspiration daily? You know, how do you get into the mode of being a creative and coming up with all these ideas and, you know, talking with your influencers and your clients every single day?
Um, Really, I get inspired by just other influencers. Like I follow so many. A lot of them are from the Disney community, but I know I think I've mentioned these two photographers to you before, but there are two photographers that kind of like got me started in photography. One is Jessica Whitaker and the other is Brandon Wolfel. They both have two completely different styles, but again and again, I watch their YouTube videos, I see their content, and I just love it so much. And it just is like, oh, I could try that, I could do this.
Mm-hmm.
But really, just seeing what other influencers do and how they push the boundaries for different things, it's just like in Orlando specifically, it's such a creative community just because there's so many
It's
theater
magical.
people. It's a magical place. Like there's performance and theater and the arts are huge here. So just being surrounded by all that in this area is just so inspiring. And it's just, it gives you a different feel, a different vibe. And it's just
Yeah.
like every day I'll hop on Instagram, I'll see something, I'm like, oh, that would be cool. Or really just talking to my boyfriend and just like spitting out ideas at each other. We're good at bouncing things off of each other and just be like, well, why don't you try this? Or why don't you do this? A lot of the time he's like, you can do better than that. I'll have an idea and he's like, No,
That's
we're gonna
weak.
do better. No, seriously, it's weak. You
Come
can do
on.
better than that.
We need the magic sparkling and flying like Mickey Mouse in what is it? Disney Fact.
Phantasmic that he has like it's like yeah.
And the brooms are dancing.
Yeah.
I know a little Disney, okay?
Yeah.
A little.
You got it. You got it.
So how do you get into your creative zone every single day? So do you have like a routine that you get up in the morning and do you meditate? Do you go and paint in a room by yourself? I know I asked someone else this, but do you just have like a certain way that you get into that zone every single day?
I've been trying to get more into that zone. I've actually been starting to meditate more, and I've been taking a lot of education courses for my business and myself. And meditating has honestly, like before, I was just like meditating. What is that? I don't get it. But
It's so good. I have a meditation pillow.
It's so good. Oh, that's cute.
It's my meditation pillow my aunt gave me. I sit in the middle of the floor and I meditate.
That's so cool. One of my good friends, she is creating a bunch of meditation resources, and I've been listening to them, and I'm just like,
Yeah, you've
like
told
it.
me about her. What's her name?
Katie.
Katie. Yeah. We'll have that in the link below for sure.
Yeah, she's amazing. But doing that more and more has really given me so much. It just makes me feel lighter, and I feel like all my thoughts have come to the surface, or like the busy thoughts have gone away. It kind of centers me. And then I also try to do yoga and stretching, because like being a dancer, my body is so used to that if I don't do it, my body's like, no, please, you need to do this. Like, what do you I just don't feel good.
Yeah.
So those are like two ways that really center me. And then from there, I'm just kind of open to whatever comes. We love to go walking, especially now. There's like a super fancy like resort complex that's like behind our apartment. So we walk back there, and just like walking around and seeing all the different like architecture down here, it's just so inspiring. But definitely that morning routine of meditation and then like stretching afterwards, it definitely gets me in the zone.
Awesome. Okay, Disney random fact, go.
Oh shoot. I'm like trying to think of a random fact. Shoot, I don't know.
Oh, you're failing. Fail.
I know, I'm failing.
How about one about do another one about the park. What is the first area of the park? Do you know that's like open, or one of the more original pieces in the park that are to where you're at?
Well, Magic Kingdom was the first park that was opened in I'm gonna get this wrong. 64. I don't know years. That's Brad. Brad knows the years. But
you can have a lifeline. You can have a lifeline. You can call Brad. It's okay.
Okay. But one of the original fun fact. The Tiki Room show that is in Adventureland and Magic Kingdom it had an overlay at one point in its run. Well, it still runs as is, as the Enchanted Tiki Room, but it didn't open as Walt Disney's Enchanted Tiki Room. It opened as, I forget the name, but it opened as something else. Then it had an overlay, which ended up starting a fire. And then they had to reopen it again without that overlay of different animatronics that from popular Disney films, such as Aladdin and Lion King. They had Zazu and forget the other bird. Anyway, but one of the animatronics that was in that overlay is actually in Trader Sam's tiki bar that is in the Polynesian. And if you go to that tiki bar, if you get a particular drink, things start animating in the bar.
And
it still animates, not to its fullest extent, but it does animate. So it's kind of fun to be like,
order that drink.
Yeah, she's like a tiki god, and then she like lights up, and then like all the lights go down, and like different windows have volcanoes that are erupting. Like it's so extra, and I love it.
That's awesome. Super cool.
There you go.
Thank you. You did it. Success. You redeemed
Yes.
yourself.
There we go.
So what are you working on these days currently in your company?
So since I can't shoot with clients, I am currently working on a membership education course. So I have a webinar for that, which is like the official launch. That is next week on the 28th at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time,
Everyone
where
join.
everyone join. And I just basically break down the whole process and what you would go through in the membership and how it would be beneficial to you. How do you create that influential and profitable social media brand without being attached to your phone all the time?
Mhm.
So, because it is possible and you can see consistent growth and be able to have those opportunities of connection and with brands or whatever without having to feel like you're glued to it. Like you can walk away. It's okay. You can have a
Creating
life.
less burnout. I know we've talked about that in the past, and just putting
Yeah.
up some boundaries and having a better life and system and schedule for yourself personally and for your business.
Yeah. And I talk about all the different techniques of that, like batching your content and how to find a photographer that'll help you batch your content and get the most out of a session. I talk about all those things and all those compile into how to create this brand because it's not just about like, oh, what are my colors? What does my logo look like? There's
Mhm.
all these other things that you need to keep in mind. And then how does that reflect across all the channels you're showing up? And what channels should you be showing up? Because you shouldn't be doing all the things.
Exactly.
So everyone's like, get on Pinterest. You're gonna um double your income like you did last year, or get a YouTube channel. Like
Or
it's
get
not gonna be
TikTok.
bad. Exactly. I am
TikTok
on
is
TikTok.
it is not for me. I tried it. I tried. I was like, this is not. I can't. I can't.
I look at it, I haven't posted in a while, but I look at it as a sense of doing fun things to get people connected to me. And then if they want to learn about me further, they'll go on my Instagram or anything else that I have connected. So it's kind of
Mhm.
like a, hey, oh, okay, she looks cool. What else does she
Yep.
do? Like that's how I
Exactly.
found a YouTuber that she does all these cool coffee creations and make like stuff at home. And I've been like, my coffee game is so much higher because of
It's
her.
extra now.
It's oh my god, I have a frother. It's extra.
Welcome to the real world now. Thank you joining us. I have a frother, espresso machine, and a French press.
Wow. I do have a
I'm a
French press.
snob. I'm such a snob.
It's okay. I now have run out of coffee, so now I've been using tea. So and I've made tea lattes like we used to at work.
Yep.
So I'm like,
Yep.
oh yes,
Hmm. Mm.
all good times.
Oh, I know. I miss seeing you every day and then being able to go like on a little walk or get some coffee or just
Yeah.
even brainstorm ideas and having like other creatives in the room. Because I know a lot of the time lose that as a community and not being able to have another designer or creative or photographer working with you.
Hmm.
How do you connect with other creatives in the industry? Being more an entrepreneur on your own. How do you stay connected?
I have before COVID-19, I went to a bunch of Tuesdays Together meetings, which is run by Rising Tide, which is a whole community of people and creatives that come together and they're all about community over competition. And there's different chapters that are across the country and around the world. And they do a Tuesdays Together, which is a first Tuesday of each month. They have moved those to digital, so you can still connect with people. The one in Orlando apparently does not exist anymore, so that's weird. So I just go to the one in Tampa because it's only an hour away. It's not that far. And I've been able to connect with people there. Some people that I've met from the conference that I went to last year. And I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot you lived in Florida. So I've been able to work with them, connect with them. And just like search on Instagram to see like what other influence or entrepreneurs are in this area. That's how I found like a couple of my clients. It's just like searching them and be like, hey, do you want to shoot together? So that's how I found them. And we stay in touch. We try to keep each other positive and
Hmm.
talk about things and support each other all that we can. But there are a couple of my friends that have done like these digital coffee dates. So we all hop on a Zoom call and we just chat of what we're doing and like brainstorm different things. So that's been fun too. So yeah, we're slowly but surely getting back to connecting with people in person
Mhm.
again, which is nice.
Some small semblance of normalcy,
Yeah.
amid whatever is happening in the world right now.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Okay, Disney random fact, go.
Um,
What's that car
Epcot,
thing?
what's that
That
car thing?
the car thing that's like 1950s on the
1950s.
stage, and it's like a car thing that rotates. Or you showed it to me at one point, and you were like,
I showed it to you. I'm trying to think what that was.
it was like 1950s, what they thought the future was going to be.
Okay.
It's like a
Uh,
futuristic thing, but they're like flying cars, but it didn't end up being that, and it's still there.
that may
Okay.
have been that may have been Epcot, but my thought was Epcot you was supposed to have, I believe it was like 24 different countries in World Showcase, and it went down to Mexico, Canada, UK, France, Italy, Morocco, United States, Germany, Norway. I think it's down to like 9. So it was supposed to be 24 different countries and narrowed down to 9 just over time. And it was like, okay, we're announcing Epcot. Epcot is going to have this world showcase. It's going to have 24 countries. JK. No, it's going to have 20 countries. Nope, it's going to have 12. Nope, it's going to have 9.
The downsizing aspect of somebody was over visioning
But
and
that's what
realistic.
happens. Yeah, that's what happens with Imagineering though. Like they have these big concepts and a lot of the time people get really upset. Like a lot of the Disney fans get upset that the full concept doesn't happen, but it's like, well, could be budgetarian reasons. If you have a sponsor, they could have had it in like a say of like, no, we're not going to do this, or it could have just been circumstantial. Like for example, there's a ride in the France Pavilion that is a duplicate from a ride in Disneyland Paris, Ratatouille, that's coming here. And it was supposed to open this spring. It's not opening till
Yeah, it
next
didn't
year.
happen.
So we could see it have more time to become a little more elaborate, or
Mhm.
who knows, or it could just be the original concept. So it like circumstantial things happen. There have been tons of rides that have or attractions in different lands that have been scaled down just because of like 9/11, for example, took a big hit on Disney, and the recession that we had took a big dip on those things. So it just happens. So people
COVID
need to be
19 had a big hit on Disney.
yeah. Like this
Yeah.
is the longest closure. Another fun Disney fact. This is the longest closure any of the parks have had in their entire history.
Wow.
And because if it was a hurricane, they're usually closed for like 2 days.
Hmm.
And any other time they've closed was when Walt Disney passed away, and I think it was John F. Kennedy was the other one that they closed. But it was for all the parks across the world that were closed. It was the first time ever since all the parks were closed that It's a Small World was not playing somewhere. So
Oh,
it was really heartbreaking for all of
that's
us. We're
so sad.
like,
I was like, oh, oh man, I didn't even realize that. Oh,
but
it's
now it's playing somewhere
all
because Shanghai's open now.
slowly and surely, everybody's getting back to
Yeah,
some kind of normalcy.
yeah.
Speaking of that, obstacles that we do run into as a society, what are some obstacles that you run into as a creative?
A lot. um,
As we all do.
it's hard. It's hard as a photographer because there's sometimes that people don't necessarily justify the price that I have, and they need to understand that I need to make a living, and especially if I'm shooting with influencers in the parks, I need to pay for my annual pass because
Mhm.
I need a certain level that I am not blocked out, that I can go at any time and be able to shoot with them. So that's just a thing. That's an inevitable thing that is a part of my business. So not just me personally wanting to go, but that is
Understanding the
something,
value of
yeah.
how much the time and effort and the experience that you put in over the years.
Yeah, because it's there. I would have to say a lot of people in the Disney community are wonderful and they understand the value of it and are willing to pay. But there are people who are just looking for a free shoot. And that can be really irritating because it's like, okay, you have to think about like, okay, yeah, you come into the park, but I need to get in too. Like, I don't come in for free. If
Yep.
I do come in for free, it's through my boyfriend. He has to be with me in order to do that. And it's just like there's a lot more expense. Like there's the wear on me, there's the editing time, there's all the licensing, there's all this stuff. And Florida is very restrictive on those types of things. I need to have a lot more regulations than other places just because of the nature of tourism here. And they don't have state income tax, so they have other things that go on. So there's a lot that goes into it. So definitely educating people on the sense of value that I provide. But a lot of the influencers I do work with do understand the value, and they're very kind and tag me in like any photo that they post that's mine. They're like, "Oh, check out Vanessa," and I'm like, "Oh,
Mm-hmm.
thanks."
Yay.
So they're so kind. But yeah, it's just really educating people on that
Mm-hmm.
and having them understand, because they'll be like, "Oh, I just want our session with like my boyfriend and I in the park." So then I
But
give them
is
my
this really what you
price.
want? You need to understand, like break down. I think you want more and you want more of an experience, and you
Hmm.
haven't to tell them that.
Right. And I'm usually for those, it's like just an hour, because you can only do so much with just a general couple in the parks. And I understand there can, like, you have to battle crowds, you have to battle people walking, and you have to take several things. But if they just want a couple of shots, I say an hour, because you have to battle all those things. And
Mhm.
when I'm with my influencers, I do two, because they're doing more. And so then when I say an hour and I give them my price, they're like, "Oh, you can't just do like a couple of shots." I'm like, "No, I need to pay for my annual pass."
Yep, yep.
So,
And that's why you're educating, the value of what your work is and what you're putting out there. And I feel like that we had talked about that yesterday on the podcast, is
mhm,
that the level of education with a lot of companies and people and influencers and clients don't understand the value of how many years of work you've put in, that you've educated yourself, that you've
mhm.
invested in. It's like reinvesting back into what you've already invested in.
Right, exactly, which is why I've tried to create enough educational resources. I talk about it on my Instagram. I have YouTube videos, even though I'm not as active there anymore, just because I'm trying to do less of all the things. I'm
Exactly.
trying to narrow it
Boundaries.
down. Yes, boundaries, like we talked yesterday. But having this membership course will help people understand, or at least the influencers of my clients would understand why photography is so important. And if you don't have the budget for it, I teach you how to use it on your phone, how to make converting images on your phone. Because I understand not everyone has the budget for that. But once you do, you want to start investing in it, and why it's such a good value and how to get the most out of it. So then
Mhm.
eventually, if they're in the Orlando area, or if they come to Disney for a vacation, I could be like, "Hi, work with me, please."
Let's shoot together. Sign you up.
Yes.
All right, Disney fact, random fact, go.
Fun fact. So if you guys have ever seen the Beach Boys music video Kokomo, so that was filmed at the Grand Floridian at Walt Disney World. So it's filmed on this beach that looks over Magic Kingdom, and you're like, "Well, where is it?" Like, you're trying to think of where the angle would be. Fun fact, they filled a parking lot full of sand to make this custom beach for this music video.
Wow, wow.
The real beach doesn't exist.
Lies. I've been lied to.
Yeah, but it's still fun to be like, "Oh yeah, this was filmed here."
Close enough. It was in the parking
Yeah.
lot over across the street.
Right. Yeah, it was just across the way. It was in the parking lot. It's fine.
Well, that's a cool fact. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Definitely, I will start to be looking out and see if there's any like holes in it to be like, oh, that is a parking lot. I'm gonna look
But
out
that
for
was
that.
a while ago, so they probably repaid that parking lot quite a few
That's true.
times.
That's true.
Yeah.
So what are some of the stylistic choices that you kind of gravitate towards, and does your city influence you? Because obviously, I think it does.
Well, Disney does. But I it's definitely different being in Florida, because I noticed I did, granted, I shifted my business probably in like like December, January. Um, but I was shooting with people a lot in that time, and probably up until COVID. But I probably was still shot with clients through April, and now it's gotten so hot that most people don't want to shoot. So if I would shoot with people, it would probably be early morning, late afternoon to evening.
Mm-hmm.
And even though we still have a lot of light, which is still works very well, I used to shoot like at golden hour, but now I really shoot at like any time, and it's just like, all right, we're making it work. So
Yep.
it's really challenged me on how I use light to my advantage and try to leverage like shade and different things. And it's really challenged my creativity, which is really fun. I still have that same like, not light and airy, but I would call it light, bright, and colorful. That's kind of where
Mm-hmm.
my editing style is. And a lot of my influencer clients like that just because it shows the natural photo itself and enhances the colors of whatever products or outfits that they're in. And then if they want to put their own preset on it, I don't care. Like they have to have their feed looking aesthetically pleasing, so I don't care. It's still a good baseline for them to then put any preset on top to like adjust, because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes like the raws are too dark or too light and I
Mm-hmm.
have to adjust it. So then I do that work ahead of time. But I would say because the weather is so different here, it is adjusted when I shoot, and just in the different light and times of day that I shoot.
Mm-hmm.
It's very interesting because I thought I was going to be like, oh, I only shoot during golden hour, but it's like a lot of these events and being able to see different events in the parks, you have to shoot during the day. And it's just like,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to have to figure it out.
Yeah, I'm a morning shooter. Like anytime that I go, and I like to be on the other side of the camera.
Yeah.
As we all know, I like to like get dressed up and go out there. And I'm a morning time. I'm like, I feel like I look the best. I feel the best. I had just had coffee. I'm the skinniest.
Yeah.
So I think we all
I
have our
try to
favorite hours for sure.
Right. I try to push for like morning, especially if they have like maybe a more elaborate outfit, if they have like they want more movement. Like morning's great because not a lot of morning during the week is great because most people don't want to get up, and the people who are up are the people
They are
on
not
vacation.
committed. They're not committed.
No,
Mm-mm.
only the
Commit.
people who are on the only people who are on vacation are the ones who are there, and they're riding rides, doing things, and we're like going for the scenery and stuff. So I try to push for morning and then end like midday. But because some people drive 2 hours to come to Walt Disney World to shoot with me. So I understand if they can't get here till midday, then we just make it work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, understandable.
Yeah.
Flexibility. Okay, Disney
Yeah.
random fact. Go.
Um, the Contemporary Resort, which is by Magic Kingdom, is where Nixon had his "I'm not a crook" speech.
Oh, okay. I didn't know
Fun,
that.
fun
Very
fact.
interesting. Fun fact. All right.
Yes.
So, what would be your ultimate project that you could absolutely work on? Unlimited budget, unlimited everything, access to whoever models, whatever you wanted. What would your project be?
Funny enough, I have that in mind, and I'm kind of working on it. So I have a project in the works. It's called the Princess Project. So I work with all sorts of different people that identify with a different Disney princess. So I have two of my friends that already want to like participate. One it can like identifies with Moana. So and she has this beautiful like naturally curly hair, just makes
Hmm.
sense. And she's from North Carolina, so it kind of makes sense because she's by the coast and the mountains. But um, we would get like full hair and makeup, like
That's so fun.
shoot at the Polynesian. She'd have an outfit, and we do an interview, basically just talking about like why you this particular princess and how it's influenced you in your life, and just showcasing that these princesses and these characters are more than just like oh, for little girls, like they can really influence you in how you approach different things and live your life. Like they're
Hmm.
more than just like a cartoon character that has unrealistic proportions.
Exactly. I love
Yeah.
that. I can't wait to see the result of that. That's so exciting. If I was
Yeah.
there, I would so help you. I know I'd probably get stuck being Cinderella or Tinkerbell or Frozen, but that's okay.
Right. Well,
I don't relate to
look,
them.
but the point of that is like, granted, my two friends do look similar to those princesses or have qualities that are, but I also want to challenge to find people like, even if it's a guy who identifies with a princess, or if it's
Yeah,
someone who doesn't even look remotely like the princess, like
I
I
love
want them
that.
to see that these people who either they identify that with them because of the color of their skin, because of their hair, because of their personality. I wanted to show like anyone could be influenced by these characters and connect with them in some way.
Oh, I love that. I think I would pick Jasmine if I could pick somebody. Jasmine
Yeah,
or
she's
Ariel?
like hands down my favorite Disney princess is Mulan. Frankly, I
Oh,
don't look like Mulan,
I
but
love her though too. I love her too, for
she
sure.
saves China. She's a badass. Like
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
she's great.
Oh, well, what is some the best advice that you have ever been given throughout the years?
Oh, that's hard.
Ooh. In school, through your career, like a teacher or anybody that has ever, or a coworker, or, boss or whoever, have they ever given you like a piece of advice that has really resonated with you?
I think like there's two. Like one is like I think everyone has heard this like um if you do something you really love, you'll never work a day in your life. And I've always tried
True.
to pursue that thought, and which is why I have moved into the place of photographing with Disney influencers and doing all the creative fun things. Like, yeah, I could be doing 4 sessions in a day, but I'm going to love every minute of it because I'm running around my favorite place, shooting with people that are awesome and creative and genuine, amazingly human beings. Um, but I think the other one, which I've heard in this. So I've heard this at the conference that I went to, and I've heard it through the education courses that I'm taking with Haley Burkhead. And these two educators both have said, you don't need to do all the things. Actually, it's better for you to not do all the
True.
things. You should be specializing in one thing,
Exactly.
curate it, craft it, make it this thing that is impenetrable,
Hmm.
and then you can build on from there. And just having that and really assessing those parts of your business, it's like, okay, what's really driving you forward? What's really making you happy? Or are you just doing this because other people have said you should? So
Exactly.
like that is
That's a
some of the
good
best
one.
that's some of the best advice. And that's how I've been driving myself forward lately.
I love that. So, on the flip side, what is some of the best advice that you would give others in your industry that are trying to do the same things that you're doing?
I would say just like put yourself in the shoes of your clients, because something that was a hard pill for me to swallow when I started was I created this offering that I was like, oh, this would be great. Influencers would love it. Like, I get it. And once I started to put myself in the place of an influencer and start doing like that influencer type things and looking towards working with brands or having affiliates and stuff like that, I've come to realize that that's not going to work. Like, I offered this package that each month they would have a 4-hour session with me to batch all of their content for a month, including like all their brand stuff. But the thing is, people get brand deals like at any random time. And maybe it's just having a month, like a 2-hour session every month that they can use for whatever they want. So then
Hmm.
they have that guarantee that they can shoot with me and have that time every month. And it could be
Hmm.
for whatever. Because ultimately, I would love for a client to use me exclusively for their photography, but that's just not reality. And
Hmm.
that was a hard pill for me to swallow. So putting yourself in your client's shoes and understanding where they're coming from before you are making is so key, because or else I'd be continuously offering this thing and people won't be buying because it's like it's not going to help. It actually puts
Hmm.
more stress on them because it's like that's a lot to do. Like, yes, I help them get the most content out of that 2-hour session. So then they have the most to post. But at the same time, they're still going to need to take photos with their iPhone. They'll probably have their friend take some photos of them for whatever brand, or if they may hire me for another shoot, like that's just what it is. I just want to give them something that makes their life a little bit easier.
A little bit more of a customizable package and being flexible for sure.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, last random Disney fact. Go. It better be a good one.
But it better be a good one. Okay.
The best one.
The best one. So okay. I'll do this. So fun fact, I'm older than Animal Kingdom.
Okay, cool.
Because Animal Kingdom was open, I think it just celebrated its 22nd anniversary. Yeah, because it opened on Earth Day. So that's its anniversary. Every year is Earth Day.
I love that. Animal Kingdom. Yay. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me on this episode. This video is going to be on YouTube, IGTV, and I will be posting it to the Instagram feed of the Design Therapy, and I'll be sending this to Vanessa, so you might see it on hers as well. But Vanessa, share any of the where they can find you, get a hold of you, all the stuff.
Yeah, for sure. So you can find me at Vanessa Jordan Photo on Instagram. That's where I live. I do have a Facebook and a Pinterest, which are Vanessa Jordan Photo, but Instagram's where I live. DM me. I live there. As for the webinar, I'll give Cassie the link for it because it's long. And the podcast that I host is Create Conversations Podcast, which you can find anywhere you stream podcasts. But I also have the link in Instagram. And my website, if you want to check out all the things that I offer, is vanessajordanphotograph.com.
I love it. And if you get on that podcast, we just had a conversation yesterday. So if you want more of our combos, make sure you go and listen to that for sure. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. It's good to see you. And I hope you have a fantastic weekend.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.